Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 83. This is the exact same list as 82. I quite like it. Don't really see any major reasons to make any major changes. The new thing that we were doing last last league, is that we were trying out third copy of Thoughtseize over fourth copy of Inquisition, which is something that I think is pretty meta dependent and I think has merit at this time. And it actually did very well last match. There were two specific scenarios where having exactly this Thoughtseize over the Inquisition ended up being very good. And we know that this Thoughtseize is the one that we switched out because it's a different set. That's just what Mana Traders decided to give me. And also Magic Online updated, so it looks like all my audio is back on. I'll change that in a sec. But yeah, I really like this list, so I'm not going to make any changes and just see if we can continue battling it out well. But let's take a look at the current modern metagame. Heliod Company still in at first, not really a surprise there. Blitz has snuck all the way back up to second, which is kind of cool. And something a little less cool is Eldrazi is in at third. Eldrazi is, I think, a disfavorable matchup, but having that extra Thoughtseize is gonna help, and it actually did help. That was one of the two scenarios that I mentioned, where the Thoughtseize came in clutch. We cast the Thoughtseize on the opponent. They had all 4 and 5 drops, and we were actually able to take something as opposed to not, which was pretty big. We don't want to see this 5-color pile either, and we would obviously like to avoid good old-fashioned green Tron, but everything else I expect to have a fairly decent matchup against. Jund Shadow recently, the second best deck, or at least second most represented deck, and now all the way it's down to 15, which is kind of surprising. And then here's Jundor Hero at number 12. Alright, so something I don't usually do, I want to give a couple quick shout-outs to two particular YouTube channels. The first of which is a friend of mine who lives in the same city as mine, just kickstarted his Twitch slash YouTube side hustle. So this is his channel, and he's playing mainly limited for right now. I don't know what his plans are in the future, but he's a pretty decent player, and he's got some interesting takes. So if you want some good limited action and you're interested in some Strixhaven, Nick is a great resource. On Twitch, his name is Salty Saint Nick, no spaces, and then on YouTube, his name is just Nicholas Legault, which is his name. So, and then the second YouTube page that I want to shout is actually mine. This is my second channel. I am an airsoft player. I enjoy playing airsoft and Magic as my two main hobbies, and this is my other channel, and this is where I put up a bunch of gameplay. I've got a couple cameras on me, one on my head, one on my scope for now, and then I edit the footage. And I've been putting a lot of hard work getting all the hit markers and audio in. So if this is the kind of thing you think is cool and or definitely give this a look. And the name is Gator Boy Airsoft because it wasn't taken yet. So I might change the name in the future, but for now, that's what I'm going with. And I've been having a fun time making those kinds of videos too. So if you like that, definitely check it out. Let's jump into the Magic event, though, because that's what y'all are here to actually watch. So, here we go. I'm going to copyright strike myself, right? Yeah. I gotta get that audio turned off. Wow, it changed all my sizes of everything too. That's annoying. Well, it sounds keepable. That's good. Where's the auto size button? It's already on. Let's just restore defaults and see what happens. Oof, what is all of this? Another Thoughtseize, not the worst. Alright, we're playing against the black-green Yawgmoth deck, which I suppose I should have figured out from Pendelhaven into Bird. The push is going to be having to target the Spellskite unless we take it here. All of their stuff has Undying, which is pretty unfortunate. We do actually have our one copy of Cling to Dust, though, which means that maybe we can kind of trade for one of these Undying creatures. I think I have to take the Spellskite just because it makes everything else so awkward. But the Strangleroot Geists are pretty bad for me. I think I am just going to go ahead and take a Geist, and then whichever they don't play here, I can then Thoughtseize. Because, like, pushing the Spellskite is fine because I'll be able to select my timing on when I want to Cling the Persist better. Wow, this audio is so annoying. Thought it would have been in here, but I guess not. Oh, you know where it is? I think it's in here, right? Yeah. That's better. Alright, so now, like I mentioned, we get to Thoughtseize the other thing. And then we can play the Verdant Catacombs. We don't actually have to fetch yet because we can tap this for black thanks to their Urborg. Gotta head to the 3D printing lab, pick up some parts. Alright, see you later, Ian. Pendelhaven that. Yeah, it's annoying. I'll take my 2. I guess I could just go ahead and get my basic forest now. Because again, it's basically Bayou because of the Urborg. I guess it's kind of just free to not fetch yet. So when we kill this wolf, I'm going to try to have the Cling available for it. Probably best to just go ahead and play the Dark Confidant now, though. And then I can do that off of my mountain so I can fetch end of turn. Although I should probably just get my Stomping Ground untapped. Like, I would want to get Stomping Ground because that's basically Triome. But alternatively, I could just get this untapped and continue using this as an untapped whatever. So let's just play this Stomping Ground tapped, which means I'm not holding up Cling, but that's probably fine. Like, I could trade and then Cling. But I think I would rather just this Dark Confidant survive. Goose, yep. That is A-okay. So we would really like to avoid the opponent finding a Yawgmoth. Take my, presumably 2. Another reason to not block, obviously. Alright, so we're just looking for any modes of interaction here. That definitely counts. So I could draw step that just to deny the opponent another resource. But if I draw step it, their Pendelhaven is going to be up again. Which means that I'm probably just going to use the Kolaghan's command now. I can have second mode be... I guess there really isn't a good second mode. I could just shatter the food, so that way the opponent can't use it as mana. And I do think I want to do this now, because Pulse is going to be one of my good ways to deal with a Yawgmoth. Kolaghan's command is going to have a much harder time doing that. So I guess I'm going to attack first. Oh, they, like, messed up all of my stops, too. Glad it didn't matter yet. Alright, and then I'll play my Badlands. Then we can go red, black, black. I'll just shatter the food. They'll just sack it, but that's fine. So destroy an artifact, 2 to a target. And then in response to Undying, we can cling. So far, so good. Alright, and hopefully this Bob just keeps the interaction coming. Another Dark Confidant is nice. A Fatal Push is nice. I'll pop out the cards that the opponent knows we have. Alright, let's attack for sure. And we also have access to Cling to Dust still in our yard. And I do think I'm going to play out the second Bob. 13 is pretty healthy. It'll help us find more interaction and more threats. As long as we're not taking like 5 a turn, I'm feeling okay. We can always use this Cling to buffer our life total if we feel that's necessary. That's our Triumph, so let's leave that untapped. And then since these tap for a black and I've got 2 Bobs in play, I'm probably just not ever going to sacrifice these fetch lands. Do I want a Fatal Push in response to them making a food? I've got the Pulse for something else that's more problematic. I'm just going to kill this so they can't gain as much life as they feel like. Nice. Alright, well, let's lead on Kroxa. And if I want, I could just shock in the Blood Crypt to escape the Kroxa now, which is going to end the game really quickly, so it's a good consideration. They ditched the land. Yeah, let's get this game over with. I'll leave the Cling. Not that we're going to escape it anytime soon. This is going pretty well. I think this matchup is pretty rough, but we've had Disruption, and a Bob. Double Bob making it even easier. Nice. Alright, so versus the black-green Persist deck. I like the Engineer. It's going to make it a lot harder for them to combo. Because, like, they can't target. They can't... There's not going to be a window for them to sacrifice one of their Persist creatures that has 1 toughness. Obviously, want the Spell Bombs to interact with the combo. They play stuff like Chord of Calling, so I think Ashiok is probably worth it. That might just be it. Brutality is just kind of a bad removal spell, but it is going to take stuff like the Chord I just mentioned we're bringing in Ashiok for. I think they're also playing like Eldritch Evolution and stuff too, so maybe Brutality is just good for all the same reasons Ashiok is good. Against the combo deck, I don't mind taking out Top End. Definitely going to keep all the 1-mana stuff, especially the Cling is so good here. Kolaghan's Command seems like it's going to be one of the weaker cards, as is Pulse. Pulse is probably one of our better ways to get rid of Yawgmoth, though. So I'm nervous taking out the Pulse. Maybe I should take out a Goyf. I am going to need quick threats. But I think the interaction and the cards that draw more cards, like Bob and Renisix, are going to be more important on the 2-drop slot. I need 4 more cuts. The discard is pretty bad being drawn late game, so maybe I can trim on one of those. I'll keep in the Thoughtseizes because those can hit the Yawgmoth. Everything else seems good, though. Maybe on the draw, I can see a reason to cut a couple Lilianas because against the Undying stuff, they can be pretty weak. I need one more cut. What if it's just another Liliana? Everything else seems great. Let's give that a go. If we can draw a land, this hand is fantastic. Keep. We've got stuff to do on 1 mana. If we didn't have stuff to do on 1 mana, I would definitely mulligan, but actual any land makes this hand insane. Not there yet. Veil of Summer is a card we're going to have to be concerned about. Wall. Okay, that's annoying. Untapped land would be great, because then we can stick our Bob. If we don't hit it, it's going to be unfortunate. Yeah. Excellent. So what land am I getting? I'm definitely want second Black Source because of Ashiok, and I guess I also want first green, so that's going to mean Overgrown Tomb. I'm going to be careful of managing my life total here, because my main strategy is Dark Confidant right now, and against a deck that doesn't pressure my life total as a primary plan, Bob gets a lot better, but I am going to have to be careful with how much damage I'm doing to myself. Yeah. Bummer. I mean, if I draw a land, I'm probably just going to pulse these walls. These walls are going to let them do a lot. We did not hit it. Alright, well, I guess I'm just going to replay a Bob. I could Brutality to maybe take a Eldritch Evolution or a Chord of Calling, or more stuff like Abrupt Decay. But the opponent could pretty easily have a Veil of Summer, which would be really bad. Looks like we're getting corded, maybe? Yeah, for sure, a cord. Sticking that Ashiok there would have been pretty good. So cord for 4. Here comes Yawgmoth. Curious if they're going to immediately sacrifice one of their walls to kill the Bob. I probably would if I were the opponent. Yeah. And then I would love untapped land here so I can attempt to pulse, but again, they could very easily have a Veil. So it's something to be concerned about. Because I am concerned about it, maybe I should just Brutality first to try to bait it out and hope they just don't have 2 copies of it. I think I like that. I think it's going to be way more important that I'm actually able to kill this Yawgmoth, because I don't have another answer to it if it doesn't work. Do I want to fetch first for any reason? I don't really ever need a lot of green. I guess I could just get a basic mountain now, such that if this Brutality actually works, then I can hold up the Blood Crypt for either a Bolt or a Clang. I could also either just fetch a basic for either of the two, but I really don't want to have all black sources. I think mountain is probably a good use of a land drop. So let's get the mountain, and then reveal your hand. Then I expect this to get veiled. They represented it on turn 1, but they didn't have anything else to do, so it's also just kind of a free bluff if they don't have it. All right, and then just to cut them off of mana, I could just bolt this, and it does represent a trigger with the Yawgmoth, so I think I do actually want to just get this thing out of the way. It puts down my Cling, but I do have the Spell Bomb if I really need to, like exile the Yard at instant speed. So I'm gonna hope that they don't have another Veil And then I can pulse the Yawgmoth. And then from there, hopefully Ashiok can soft lock them. Yeah. So another Undying creature is going to make this difficult, but I do have the Spell Bomb, so I can break it up. Was this the triple black thing? Evolution. Interesting. Yeah, this is why I would have liked to have stick to the Ashiok. I mean, I'm gonna let this... I guess I should get rid of it before it comes back, right? Yeah. Yeah, Ashiok would have been really, really good had I hit the land on time. I did keep a one-lander with the idea that the hint was insane if we hit the second land on time, which we did do. Third land on time would have been pretty lucky. So this can get something that costs 3 or less. Maybe it's just a spell skite. No, messenger, yeah. And an arbor, okay. So I still think I have to go for the pulse on the Yawgmoth. If I go for the pulse on the messenger, they're just going to sacrifice it. I mean, I'm taking 4 a turn to this. So, I mean, I'm going to need to kill this stuff somehow. And this is going to come back. Yeah, I mean, I still just have to pulse the Yawgmoth, unfortunately. They might just sacrifice this now anyway. Can you target itself? Yeah, you could. They should probably target the Yawgmoth with it. They're targeting the arbor? Yeah, the Yawgmoth is dying, so they should probably just targeted the Yawgmoth. But this kills the Dryad Arbor for free, right? Unless I'm not understanding how this interaction works. On up to 1 target creature. Yeah, they could have targeted the Yawgmoth. Alright, so I need to find a way to kill the messenger. Oh, it's pro-humans. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, I was right in that there was something I wasn't understanding. That's funny. You could just target the messenger, though. I guess then the target is invalid, and then you don't draw the card. And a Baloth. Alright, Baloth is something good to know about, I guess. We're just dead now, though, right? If we kill one thing, the other thing still kills us. We could cling to gain 3. Dark Confidant can block. I mean, I guess we're alive to that line. Don't think it's a game that I'm winning anyway, but I mean, we're alive. Demonstrate a loop. Maybe what I should do is cling a non-land. I mean, that I know this means that I die to the attack, but I think if I have any chance at pulling ahead, it's going to involve actually killing something, which means I should just draw a bolt here. So I'm aware this isn't going to keep me alive, but if I find a bolt here, I might actually have a chance at stabilizing as opposed to just surviving for a turn. Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel confident winning that game anyway. Alright, so we are aware of Obstinate Baloth now. I think that might even just be another reason to take out the 4th Liliana. We're on the play where Liliana is better. But it's so weak versus the Undying stuff. Maybe I bring in Kolagon's Command, or just another 2-drop even. Liliana is one of my good interaction spells, so I think if I'm going to bring something in, it's going to be another interactive spell, maybe a Kolagon's Command. Like, I boarded out 3 threats, but 5 interactive things. So I think I'm going to bring in another interactive thing over just another threat. Let's go first. Yeah, Sansa Keeper. We get turn 1 Spell Bomb into a turn 2 Dark Confidant. We're looking for Ashiok, I think, would be our best find. But there's no way I'm only getting a hand with a 1-mana hate piece into a Dark Confidant. Goose. I could just terminate the Goose. That would cut off the line of Eldritch Evolution next turn for a 3-drop. But I mean, you're going to be hard-pressed to convince me not to just play this Dark Confidant here. So the question is, how do I want to do it? I think I'm going to Fetch Shock a Stomping Ground here. Because if I draw like a Black Leaf Cliffs, I may want to have a green source already in play for the Maelstrom Pulse that I've just drawn. So they could Eldritch Evolution next turn, but that wouldn't be the most disastrous thing that could happen. Geist, yep. So I could block and pop Spellbomb, but that doesn't seem like a very good use of a Dark Confidant. So I think what's going to happen here is I'll just take the hit. If I have another threat, there's a stronger argument to actually just blocking to trade. But without another threat, doesn't seem as good. Alright, this can get, I guess, basic Swamp. I guess I'm attacking now. I still don't plan on blocking. I've got the pulse for something like a Yawgmoth, so I feel pretty secure in terminating the Geist. They could have a Veil, but they didn't. They played Goose on turn 1 and then didn't use it turn 2, which makes me think that maybe they just didn't have anything worth ramping into on 2, which means that if they had a decision between Goose and a Veil on turn 1, they probably would have just held up the Veil. So my read would be that unless they've just found it, they probably don't have it. They could still cast it now using the food. So in the event that they do have it, I think I should go for the terminate now, because then at least they have to use their food. Nice. Alright, so Spellbomb did its thing. It wasn't a great one. So if the Yawgmoth here, we can just pulse it out of the way and keep on attacking. So this position is okay. They're gonna get to kill the Bob. Okay, they didn't actually have it. That works too. Bird. Okay. So I could pulse messenger and bolt it when it comes back. It's not great. Ooh, Goyf's a good find. Goyf is just gonna stonewall the messenger, which is another way to air quotes answer it. Let's lead on attack. We can play Ravine, play Goyf, hold up the bolt. They're cutting grass outside. Sorry if you can hear that. That's fine. And I could bolt the goose so that the way they can't just create a bunch of life forever. Oh, they have the Yawgmoth too. So I'm planning on pulsing that, right? But I think I'm gonna want to bolt something now so they can't use it for the Yawgmoth. They only have one undying creature. Can't kill the wall. I think at this point the goose is just better than the bird. So it's really just between, do I want to kill the goose or do I want to kill the messenger? I think I want to kill the messenger because I can't really block it after the Yawgmoth resolves, because then they can just put minus counters on the Goyf as well. So I think I'm going to kill the messenger. It'll come back as a 4/3, which can't attack this turn. So I'll be to 10. And then they should probably kill my Bob here. Oh, I'm an idiot. I guess this killed the goose anyway, so it actually doesn't matter. Am I just dead? Yeah, I think I'm actually just dead, because they can sacrifice their own creatures to just trigger this a bunch, right? I guess I'm not just dead. Need some action. That's good. That was going to be a Liliana. It looks a lot better as a Kolaghan's command here. Alright, so I guess I'm going to lead on Pulse the Yawgmoth. That much feels pretty straightforward. This Yawgmoth drawing cards is kind of a beating, though. Yeah, they just wanted to reset their thing. I think I actually want to play the Peatland here because I intend on sacrificing at end of turn. Goyf still outsizes the messenger, which is nice. Yeah, let's plan on sacrificing this. This is not going well though. This Yawgmoth drew him like 4 cards. Have to block. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. My other emote is getting made right now, and I'm in contact with the artist, who happens to be my girlfriend. I've had a second emote slot available for a while now, but only recently figured out what I want it to be. Honorary Ian? No. So I'm gonna assume this is another Yawgmoth, and then if they have any other undying creature, we actually just die. Because they can bounce it off of the messenger, and every time the messenger enters, we lose 2. That's not an undying creature. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're just dead anyway. If they're willing to sacrifice the board. I mean, we were dead just last turn as well, I'm pretty sure. They just didn't do it, right? Because they could sacrifice a creature, put a counter on this, sack it again. I guess they can only do it twice, putting us to 2. That's interesting. So let's play it. Not going to Thoughtseize them and go to 4. That seems bad. And shocking and going to 4 also seems bad. So I might have to use this Kolaghan's Command and just not get the card off of the Spell Bomb. Which doesn't feel great. They've got 2 green mana here. So I can't even, like, if they eat something with the Ooze, kill it in response. I could, like, if they eat something with the Ooze, pop it on the yard that they plan on eating from. And if they eat something again in response, I could Kolaghan's Command it. But that doesn't seem like a game I'm really winning. I mean, it doesn't seem like a game I'm winning anyway. Yeah, I'm fairly confident this matchup is not great. We were pretty lucky to get the first game. I want to say this is the 4th or 5th time I've played against this deck, and I think I've lost every time. Can't do much about that. So the Kolaghan's Command isn't actually going to be able to kill anything here, so I think I'm going to draw the card off of this. Like, we could go after the Ooze, but it's not actually going to be able to kill it. So I think trying to draw something else to do at instant speed was where I want to go. Didn't work out, though. Yep. So they've got literally all the green they could ever want. So this Goyf just not going to be an effective blocker. Unfortunately, I'm not playing like a Damnation or anything silly like that. There's actually only 1 creature in the yard, so this is going to hit me for at most 3. Do I just take it and then try to find a way to kill this? They could still only hit me for 5. Whatever I block, they just eat stuff to shrink it. I mean, this Goyf isn't an effective blocker, or isn't an effective attacker either. So I guess I'll just block the thing that can do the most damage. And then what do I need to find now? I need to find like Bloodbraid into something, which seems unlikely. Yup. Damnation that's not in the deck? No. I could Kolaghan's Command back the Tarmogoyf, but they'll just eat it in response, so I'm very dead. Yeah, that matchup feels pretty unwinnable. I think it's winnable if we've got Ashiok, so maybe I should have mulliganed more aggressively for that. But I mean, my opening hand was fairly good. So I mean, maybe I just really need to find the Ashiok. Yeah, they have so many ways to find Yawgmoth, right? Because it's Cord finds it and Eldritch Evolution finds it, both of which stopped by the Ashiok. They could still obviously just like draw a Yawgmoth. But if I can fend off the ones that they draw with my various removal spells and then prevent them from just finding another easily, then maybe I can win. Can't keep this one. Obosh. So it looks like this is going to be probably mono red prowess. Well, I don't think I'm going down to 5. This hand is serviceable. We can kill the first thing and we have a Bob. Bob not excellent, assuming that we know their mono red prowess. I guess I'll just top one of the things I'm far from casting. Yep, we're gonna get smacked. So I don't think they play mutagenic growth anymore. But in the event that they do, I think I'd want to bolt it on my turn, so that way if they do have the mutagenic growth, they're not attacking with it. So let's bolt now. Alright, so while they don't play any 2-drops because of Obosh, they do still have cards that have 2-drops stapled onto them, like Bone Crusher Giant. So Blood Moon is something I am scared of. That's a good draw because this means that we can get our basic forest. And if we don't get Blood Moon, this is going to be priced into getting basic swamp. Basic forest doesn't escape Croxa, which is unfortunate. But it does cast the Blood Braid. So I think I'm still getting basic forest here. I think if we are getting Blood Moon next turn, it's going to be more important that I have the forest, because the forest can cast Tarmogoyf. This Bob is going to die to actual anything, but it's going to die to actual anything at any point. Stomp. Yep. Opponent's going to have many zones this game. Let's see if I can organize them. Uh-oh. No! Well, that was unfortunate. I just yielded through my turn because I thought I didn't already yield, but apparently I hadn't. Would have been able to Blood Braid next turn. I still think I'm losing this game, but this obviously is going to make it a lot harder. Land. Yeah, this is maybe a game I could have won, because Blood Braid blocks the Bone Crusher just fine. Had it hit removal, we could have dealt with the Slow Spear. So all in all, pretty unfortunate. I guess we can Liliana a thing. So yeah, we're dead to actual any burn now if they just go face with this. If we can cascade into a cling to dust and go up to 5, that could be a way that we climb back. Never playing this Bob. Alright, so we actually kind of need to hit a cling to dust here. And then maybe our Bloodbraid can trade for the Bone Crusher. They could also just not have a burn spell, which seems unlikely. Goyf is a 4/5. I guess holding back the Bloodbraid is gonna defend us versus a haste creature. Haste creature doesn't actually kill us unless they also have a burn spell, but if they have a burn spell, we're dead anyway. So I think an attack here is good. And again, we can't target this thing or else we actually just die. So maybe we can edict it. Our out here is that the opponent is egregiously flooded. That doesn't kill a Tarmogoyf. That shrinks a Tarmogoyf. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that was the reason to to not attack specifically this. Oh, I guess double flame slash makes it not matter. Yep. Yeah, maybe we win that game if I don't misclick. Alright. Brutality gonna be excellent. I think I'm bringing in the spell bombs in the event of Bedlam Reveler. Oh, the Bedlam Reveler is even, right? So they couldn't play with Obosh. I'm gonna bring in the Wildfire because if they have Blood Moon, this is gonna be a way to get out from under it. I guess Spell Bomb is gonna have some value in that they play Lava Dart, they play Seasoned Pyromancer, they play the 1 mana 2 damage that like flashes back for 5. So maybe Spell Bomb is good enough. Let's take out the Thoughtseizes. Bob also not really good in this matchup. And I also like cutting this Renin 6. This Renin 6 doesn't do anything either. Maybe the Renin 6 is going to be like pseudo Blood Moon installation. If we could like have a good fetch land to recur. It's interesting. I don't think it actually kills anything in their deck, though, is the issue. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play this. The Wildfire and the Spell Bombs are pretty low impact, but I think they might just be necessary. Yeah, this is a keep. I do actually, I think, want to get Stomping Grounds because I don't have any green or red without it. Although I guess I could just play my Swamp and then play the Spell Bomb to delay the decision. But I think it's still probably better to get the Stomping Ground because like I need the red and I need the green anyway, right? And if I play this now and then the opponent doesn't play a 1 mana creature for whatever reason, I can get this I can get this into play tapped and then effectively gain 2 life when I don't have to fetch shock to bolt it. Alright, well it looks like I'm gonna fetch to bolt it anyway. I guess I don't actually have to shock. Because like next turn I'm kind of reserved to bolting this and spell bombing. This would have me going down to 18 to do it all. If I fetch shock, I'll be down at 17, which is 1 less. But this means that if I draw like a Tarmogoyf or something, I won't be able to play it. So what's likely to be more relevant? 1 life or potentially drawing and sticking a Tarmogoyf right here? I mean, I guess there are other things that I would want to do, like Brutality. Let's fetch Shock. I'm not going to play around the Mutagenic Growth like I did last time. I just don't think they're playing it, especially after the sideboard. And if they've got it, you got me. Did not hit it. Alright, well, looks like it's a Spellbomb turn. This means we're going to get to Liliana. So I think that was actually a misplay. I should have played the fetch land here so I could have gotten a duel painlessly in. Although I think I might actually just want to get basic Swamp with this anyway. So maybe not an error, but probably just cleaner to play the fetch. Firebolt me. Okay, so I guess this is a light up the stage enabler. Bone Crusher, Bone Crusher. Well, the good news is they can't do both of these things. And then I'm not really satisfied on the effect of this Spellbomb yet, so I think I'm just going to leave it in play. And I don't think I want to play out the Liliana because it can just get burned down and not guaranteed to kill something. So I think I'm just going to hold everything. Be a little patient. Play another Spellbomb. Now that I have second Spellbomb, I can use the first one a little bit more freely, I think. I'll still wait to see if the opponent wants to put anything into their yard for any reason. Maybe I can get the maybe I can force the use of the second half of a Lava Dart or something. Yep. Oh, they don't have a land? That's good. Alright, let's use one of these spell bombs. Pay the mana. Bloodbraid, that's good. So if I'm able to find an untapped land, I think I'm just gonna slam the Bloodbraid. So, do I want to get got by a Blood Moon? I guess they don't even necessarily want to play a Blood Moon yet, because then they lose access to other Bone Crusher. I guess they're losing access to other Bone Crusher anyway. Let's just get the Overgrown Tomb. And then untapped land would be good. Alright, Goyf is fine as well. So, let's leave up a black source for the Spell Bomb. And then again, I don't think I'm using this Liliana until I know it can get used as an Edict without getting burned down. Still kind of afraid of a Blood Moon. But if they just like find a land and play Bone Crusher, I can Edict it out of the way and then jam. Yep. And then like, I do want to find the land, but my next turn is scripted anyway, so let me just untap and Liliana. A Swift Spear would take care of my Liliana if I attack, but I still think I should probably attack. This isn't a game I want the opponent to be able to have time to draw burn spells for. And if they Blood Moon now, will be unfortunate, but I will have already had two powerful things in play and a Kolaghan's Command I can still cast. So doing okay, that's fine. The Spell Bomb can maybe force the second half of that. Interesting. Okay. Why even Lava Dart the Goyf then? They could have just darted me so I'd be at one less. Because Goyf was gonna... Oh, I guess Goyf doesn't actually die anyway. It has one toughness. Duh. I can Kolaghan's Command it back. If I find untapped mana, I'm definitely just gonna go for it anyway. Alright, that's a good draw though, because that means we can, if they do have Blood Moon, we can get our basic forest. So let's just pass and intend on buying back our Tarmogoyf. I really would have wished to have hit a lands there, because I do need to get the opponent dead sooner or later. And then I guess I'm going to have the opponent discard a card. I'm assuming they've got only spells in their hand. I don't think they're playing Baloth or anything. So we'll return a creature. Target player discards, so you'll discard, obviously. Buy back the Goyf. So the Goyf will have instant and whatever they discard to size it. Which means it could be susceptible to a Bolt. I'll have to be careful about that. They discarded a sorcery. Okay. Untapped land, please. It's a good one, too. Should I just run the Goyf back out? Goyf would die to just like a Bolt. But I have lots of good follow-up pressure. So I think I actually like running it out here, despite the fact that it dies to most of what they could have. Stomp. Alright, well we're at 3 toughness, so I guess they're gonna like throw a lava dart at it too. Or stomp again. Is that all of their bone crushers? I feel like that is. Yeah, that's all of their bone crushers. That's kind of funny. So an interesting line that I have here is I could just fatal push my own Tarmogoyf, because that means they won't have access to this other bone crusher. Because if I can effectively counter the stomp, they don't get the bone crusher part. Is that crazy? I've got removal for other stuff. I think I'm gonna do it. So that's just gonna go straight to the yard. Like ultimately, I think I want the pulse for the Obosh. Pyromancer is bad for me. So Spear is also bad for me. It's just falling apart. I need to find action. I mean, even untapped land is action. Well, I said the spell bombs and wildfires were kind of necessary, but getting flooded on them feels bad. Do I really just cycle a wildfire to try to hit a land? If it's a tap land, I'm going to need to have done it now. I'm taking 3 to the onboards at a minimum next turn. I think I'm going to try to hit a land here. Like, I could use my entire turn to pulse, but it doesn't feel like a game where I'm really pulling ahead. I guess, like, I could also, in desperation, also pop the spell bomb trying to find the land, but turn 8 not finding the next land feels unlucky. Again, if it's a tap land, I'm going to need to have done this now. Although that means I'm not going to be able to get rid of the Pyromancer. I think I just really need to find it. Because if I find, like, a Blackleaf Cliffs or a Raging Ravine, it's going to feel really bad if I don't do this now. Alright, well, I can get it in tapped now and save some life. Hopefully they don't have something ridiculous. At a minimum, they've got Bone Crusher. Yeah, I mean, maybe pushing my own thing was just kind of silly. It prevented one of their threats, but as long as they've got other things to do, it doesn't really buy me a whole lot of time. A little late on that. So if I Bloodbraid here and they have a removal spell, what happens? I'm just dead to the onboard. They don't even need a spell. I mean, if I pull something, I'm still falling behind anyway. Like if I pulse Bone Crusher, I go to 6. I die to a spell. If I pulse anything else, I still die to a spell, and I just don't have a creature in play. I could Brutality here, but that would be the only thing I do, which doesn't feel like a winning scenario. I think I've got to Hail Mary these, and like hope to hit removal spells, or just another threat. All right, that was probably not gonna do it. I guess they can't kill the Bloodbraid if their last card's a burn spell, but they could also just throw it at my face, and I can't beat that either. It's a dart. Yeah, we're just dead. We block and then take lethal. Stumbling on lands is pretty aggravating. One land, not gonna do it. This hand's good though. Keep. This hand would be excellent as a 7-card hand, but we have to bottom something. I could bottom a land and assume that I'm finding another. Not every matchup is a push matchup though, so maybe I should just bottom the push. If I'm on the play, I'm just for sure ditching the push. But if they play something relevant on turn 1 and I don't have a way to kill it, that could be bad. Let's bottom a land and then assume we're gonna find another one. Elvish Reclaimer. Alright, well this makes me happy that I gave myself the option to use the Fatal Push. Glyph's a good hit. Although I think I still just want to use the discard spells while they're still really good. So let's lead Inquisition. And then probably get Blood Crypt to Thoughtseize. Oh, wow. So it's 5-color Niv. So they don't actually have a play coming up. But I think I want to Thoughtseize now anyway, because even if I find the land, my mana is kind of tied up. Alright, so their hand is lands. Alright, so land here would be big because I would love to get this Liliana going. We've got the Croxa to discard for basically free. Alright, we're making up for last game. Did you find a counter? Jeez. That's bad. Drew an Omnath after drawing a counter. Alright, well, we have the Liliana to Edict it, as long as they haven't drawn Force and a blue card. The 1-for-1 game is not something I can afford to fight here. Dryad, yep. So I guess they've got Valakut somewhere hidden in their deck. They're 5-color? Okay. Alright, so we don't know anything in their hand. Liliana can have them discarding their last card. I guess let's lead there, probably ditching Kroxa. They discarded a Triome, okay. And then Goyf can shield the Liliana. And then we can play a land. And then next turn, maybe we get to escape Kroxa. Alright, if the opponent can brick here, I think we're ahead. I am worried about this comboing with Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, so I think I'm going to snap off an Edict, assuming I'm going to be able to. They just drew it? Oh my god. Pretty unbelievable. Alright, well. Okay. So I would love to escape the Kroxa here, but then any fetch land is having them kill any creature they want. So I think I just have to use the Terminate. And they're gonna block if given the option. They're not gonna necessarily block if given the option, but I do want to connect. And I'm gonna terminate this thing anyway, so I might as well not give them the option and just use the Terminate. I mean, I think I'm ahead here. I think I just need to avoid like Omnath into a land or something. I guess their 5-color Bring to Light is something I could conceivably be worried about. Maybe they're playing like Escape Shift Gotcha Pile. Although they are at 8, so I can hit them for 6, then just play a Kolagun's Command and kill them. So I guess I'm going to wait to upkeep it. Because if they've drawn a counter spell, I at least want them to use the mana that they've got on their turn to deal with it. And then second mode will be, I guess you discard a card, so that way if it is a counter, like a Cryptic or something. Actually, if it's a Cryptic or something, the second mode doesn't really matter at all. So I guess I'll just have them discard a card. It doesn't really matter. I don't have anything relevant to return. Alright. There was another Flagstones. Alright. So, versus 5-color Niv something or other. I think Ashiok's probably good. They've got Valakut in the deck, so I'm assuming they're playing some number of ways to tutor for it. Wildfire's also probably going to be fine. I don't know that they have any graveyard sub-themes, so I don't think Spellbomb's going to be good. They're playing Bring to Light. Probably other instants and sorceries, so maybe Brutality is good, but we didn't see anything that this kills, and draining them doesn't seem relevant, so I don't think I'm going to bring this in just as a bad duress. We've already got stuff like Thoughtseize and Inquisition to do that. They could be playing Snapcaster, almost definitely playing Wrenn and 6, so I think I'm keeping the Cling in. The Lilianas are weaker on the draw, especially to all of their multi-for-ones. I think on the draw I'm going to cut a couple of Dark Confidants as well. On the play I'll likely bring it back in, but if they're playing Wrenn and 6, and just all of the burn spells that are very likely, playing a turn 2 Bob and then just having them Time Walk us seems pretty bad. And then playing the 1-for-1 game does not seem like something I'm interested in, so I'll cut some Inquisitions, keeping the Thoughtseizes over them because those can take the Haymakers. Although I kind of want to cut the Fatal Pushes too. Maybe Brutality is just better than Fatal Push. Fatal Push kills the Omnath. But again, that's not a game that I'm really pulling ahead on. So maybe I should just be playing the Brutalities because they're better than Push. I mean, at that rate, maybe Spellbomb is better than something too. We didn't see anything graveyard related. but it's not unrealistic that they've got it. But let's try this, and then when we see more of their deck, we can make some better decisions. Yeah, sounds good. We've got the Bob, but again, it may be a little on the fragile side. You think push is better than bolt? I'm not even sure that's true because like push can kill only Omnath. I guess it also kills Dryad, so maybe push is better. I was thinking bolt might be better because we can at least finish Planeswalkers with it, but neither seems great. I mean, we got the push in our hand anyway. Alright, they didn't have Renin 6, which is good. They could have the bolt for the Bob. It's a good draw. Alright, don't bolt me, please. It's a fairy. Yep, brutal. I could just Kolaghan's Command as a way to finish this Teferi, but there isn't really a good second mode. I think I should still probably do it. Okay, the bolt makes it interesting. The bolt means I can finish the Planeswalker, which is one of the reasons why I just mentioned I left it in. So I guess let's bolt first, see if it resolves. It does. Alright, let's get Overgrown Tomb. Or actually, let's get Blood Crypt. Don't really need a lot of green for any reason. Try this again. Yeah, I think had I not drawn a 1-mana way to deal with the Teferi, I think I would have just gone for the Kolaghan's Command. Because if they untap and are able to counter the Kolaghan's Command going after the Teferi, things can get pretty sticky. Alright, push kills Dryad if we can find the fetch land or some other way to revolt. I could have Wildfire myself to revolt that way. Fetch land would just make it a lot easier though. Perfect. So I guess the plan here is definitely push. They've already got Valakut in play. And then I guess if they somehow have the force for this, we can Cleansing Wildfire the Valakut. If I'm getting a basic, it has to be basic Swamp. Which is kind of funny. I guess like 14 is still really healthy versus a deck that doesn't really have a lot of burns. Let's just get a duel. We've got basic Forest, so that means we can pretty safely just make this a Blood Crypt. Alright, so we have Revolted. We can kill the Dryad. Cool. And then we'll deploy Goyf in the second main. I'm assuming they don't have Path because they had the Flagstones and then just didn't Path us. It'll be unfortunate if they've got exactly another Dryad into a land because then Valakut will be returned on. But I think it's still probably better to get a Goyf down. Dryad into fetch land would be a nightmare though, because then they get to kill everything. So maybe like just out of consideration of avoiding that nightmare scenario, I should just kill the Valakut now. Verdict, okay. I guess that's another punish. Alright, so now I guess I will kill this Valakut. But I guess now since we know they didn't have it, now would maybe be a fine turn to get back a creature and replay a creature. I mean, we know they don't have it because they almost definitely would have just done that. So let's buy back a creature, have them discard, and then if it's between Goyf and Bob, I think it's still going to be Bob. It's more fragile, but they haven't demonstrated a clean way to kill it yet. They don't have many mountains in play, so they would have to have exactly Dryad, and again, I'm pretty sure they don't have it or else they'd have done it. Alright, so return and discard. So you'll discard. Discarded a Sigarda, wow. Flying hexproof we can't make them sacrifice permanents. Well, we don't actually have a way to kill this, right? We're not playing like a damnation or anything like that. Oh wow, they have it. Brutal. They're just going at me. I mean, I guess they can put me down to 4 here. We can combine Bolt and Kolagon's command. Oh, okay, we're actually just dead. So as long as they don't sacrifice Valakut and fail to find, I think we're dead, right? We could even just get another Valakut here and make it really easy, right? I think that's enough. My math could be off. Alright, so with our newfound appreciation of Dryad, maybe we want to bring in another push. Maybe we want to bring in the Liliana again now that we're on the play and it's slightly better. And I did mention wanting to bring the Bobs back in. So I would like this, I would like this. Maybe even would like this. Let's cut up Bolt. These Kolaghan's commands don't really seem super powerful. The best mode is probably going to be buy back a creature, which is good. What if I just cut the bolts entirely? That could leave me soft to some of the planeswalkers that the opponent could play. But on the play, I think I just have to be the beatdown. Maybe these bolts just come out all together. Need 2 more cuts. I think I like trimming at least a Kolaghan's command if the best mode is going to be buy back a creature. Cutting the bolts means that I'm really short on burn spells. Oh, they updated it. I was looking for sort by converted mana cost, but now it says mana value. That's funny. I guess I can just take other Inquisition. Yeah, let's do that. Cut the Wrenn. I think I like the Wrenn in 6 here. Hitting our land drops is probably going to be pretty nice versus a mid-range deck. Can't keep this. Well, there's the Wrenn in 6. No lands to buy back and basic swamp. I think I'm just gonna bottom the I guess it's between Pulse and Kolaghan's command. Like, I would love to Thoughtseize on 1, because if I draw a fetch land, then I could maybe Wrenn in 6 on turn 2. But I can't actually do that if I'm playing Swamp. So I think what's going to happen here is let's bottom Kolaghan's command and then just lead on Ravine. Because, like, Thoughtseize is going to be good later, too. So if I can spike a fetch land here, I'll feel pretty good. Even a Bob would be good. Sick. Alright, so we could get spell snared in theory, right? Let's just hope they don't have it. Turn 2 on the play means we get to sneak out from under Remand, which is nice. And then we have Brutality and Thoughtseize to maybe sneak through a future threat if we can find one. Valakut, alright. So Veil of Summer is something I am concerned about. I guess we'll just Brutality first. I guess if they've got like 3 mana to Fairy, it would be unfortunate, but we could always Thoughtseize on top of the Brutality. And I'll still play the Mire because I want to continue getting value with the Wrenn in 6, I think. Please don't have Veil. They always have the Veil, right? They just always have it. Breeding Pool, Veil. What a dumb card. Can't Thoughtseize because they're under a Veil. For some reason, this card counters multiple things a turn. What a card, what a card. We've got a Ravine in play. That could be a way to win. If they play like Dryad here, maybe we get to pulse it. It's a fairy. If they plus this, I'm pulsing it for sure. If they minus it, maybe not. Okay. So I didn't get a card off of it, which is nice. I can also Thoughtseize here, which is something I'm definitely interested in, especially considering their turn coming up is the Omnath turn. Veil, yeah. The green Cryptic Commanding. So this one costs 25% as much and is green. You want to force this? They have the Dryad. They also have the Sigarda. I guess I have to take the Sigarda now because I have actual no way to beat it otherwise. And then I guess I'm going to save the fetch for the opponent's turn so I can Fatal Push it. Well, I guess I'm pulsing now anyway. They do have the Valakut. So, like, next turn they can go Dryad, land, but that doesn't turn it on yet. So, I guess we'll get Mountain here. Alright, so ideally they just go like Dryad, land, pass, and then we can push it before they get a trigger. But they might be smart and play around it. If they draw something else to do, they'll probably just do that. Yeah, they're playing around it. They drew the Savai Triome. So yeah, they're playing around it. And this means they're gonna get to keep my Renin 6 off of an emblem. Another fetch, not great. And I guess I'm gonna plus on nothing here because I do want to keep Revolt for my opponent's turn, I think. And if they draw another fetch land on top of all of this, that could be problematic. So they're gonna have 3 bolts here. I guess the first land entering doesn't trigger, so it's 2 bolts. They did draw another fetch? Jeez. Alright, so I kind of have to let this happen, right? If I respond, I have to hope that they fetch here, and then in response to a fetch, I can then go for the trick, which would keep my Renin 6 at 1. But if they just wait, yeah, they're playing it safe. They're pretty smart about it. I mean, this Dryad is dying. We're gonna have to hope that they can't find more action. They can put me down to 6 here, but that means we still have our Renin 6 going. I think they're pretty likely to just kill their Renin 6, and I still think I want to fire off the push now. It's not ideal at all. But I do have a mana sink. Right, so yeah, they get to kill the Ren here if they so choose. Drawing another fetch land was pretty unfortunate. And then they also played it smart on top of all that. Alright, so we know their hand is Bajuka Bog, Sacred Foundry. Hopefully they just don't find anything ridiculous after all of this. Come on, deck. That's a good one. It's pretty big, too. Can't attack with the Ravine quite yet. They can hit one of our yards with the Bog. What did you find? Did you find Omnath? Cycle, okay. That's not Omnath. Sacred Foundry we knew about. Shocking, though? Did you find Scapeshift? So, I mean, as long as they have mountains in their deck, right? They don't have the Dryad in play, so they do just have to have adequate mountains. 4 more. It needs to be exactly 4 mountains, too. They can't get, like, Valakut and mountains, because then they don't have enough mountains to trigger it. Yeah, they have enough. Maybe they hit my Goyf. No, they don't. Yikes. Pretty rough league. Here's the deck. And I think we've hit 3 rough ones. But, doesn't feel good. Like, what did we hit round 1? I don't even remember. My brain's already blocked out the trauma. Oh, it was a match when we played Yawgmoth, right? There we go. We got a keeper. Looks like Storm, which should be a good one. Yeah, so this is a rough one for sure. I've had some pretty bad matchups, but this looks like a good one. Then I'm going to get Overgrown Tomb because that one casts the Goyf and the pushes. Pretty clear choice. Also makes Black Leave Cliffs the best hit. Let's get a Blood Crypt here and get our Goyf down. Playing Liliana on turn 3 would be pretty powerful, but that makes us really susceptible to a remand. We can get something under a remand only now, and we have double push for next turn either way. So we're not like putting ourselves behind in time by not doing anything. Alright, well I guess we're dead. Doing some clerical work on my other screen over here, excuse me. Alright, Storm, Ashiok, Stamping Spheres, Spell Bombs, Brutalities, and Plague Engineer for Empty the Warrens. Let's cut out most of the big stuff. We've got 1 mana removal, which is better than Terminate. Renin 6 does nothing. Kroxa, not excellent. Kolgun's Command, not excellent. Our outs to empty the Warrens include Pulse, Plague Engineer. That's probably enough. Might just cut out the Blood Braids again. They are a Nomba with the Damping Spheres, and we've got plenty of other clocks. We cut the Kroxas, though, so I mean, we're kind of threat light if I do it this way. This has me at 61, though. Only threats here are Goyf and Bob. Is that going to be enough? Don't think that it is. I think this is way too threat light. So let's get, I think, 2 Blood Braids back in here. Or maybe Kroxa is just better because it threatens the opponent's resources more, and it also comes down a little lower on the curve and isn't a combo with a non-bow with Damping Sphere. So we need 3 cuts from here. I think I'm going to cut maybe just a Brutality. Well, I think I want to cut the Inquisition before the Brutality because the Brutalities can take the Gifts Ungiven. And then maybe I cut the Cling as well. The Cling really isn't that good. We've got Spell Bombs, which do the job way better. Everything else is just excellent. Maybe I cut a Liliana just because it's weaker on the draw. But I mean, if we get on the play when they have Remand, but I mean, it's probably just too good to mulligan. Punish for not leaving a push. Well, yeah, obviously. But I mean, I think that if we're not playing the Goyf there, we're just giving the opponent so much more time. That's probably not a game we're winning either. So I think I just hope there that they don't have the actual factual nuts, which is Reducer into Double Ritual into Payoff. They did double cantrip though, so the odds that they have exactly that are a bit higher. Yeah, let's cut a Kroxa. I'm aware this means that we're kind of threat light, So I'm gonna put a priority on protecting threats when I do find them. Sounds good. They mulliganed too. Nice. They've got pieces of the puzzle, peer through depths. Let's definitely take the multi for one. Ooh, Bob's a good one. Let's just play that. I guess we can get Stomping Ground here. We've got the Nurturing Peatlands for more black. Although we already have lots of green too. We really don't need a lot of green. Let's just do Blood Crypt. Get the Bob in, which was a really good draw. It went Shivan Reef. Alright, Bob, do the thing. Nice. Should probably still just try to stick the Liliana here. They're a turn off of casting Gifts Ungiven unless they want a ritual into it. So I think I'm going to still attempt the Liliana. There's one card we don't know about, so only one chance we get remanded. But anything we do this turn would get remanded anyway. We've got the Pulse to fend off and empty the Warrens, which is nice. Did you draw it, or is this just appear? They drew the Remand, of course. Of course. Alright, so now I feel like I'm kind of priced into using Brutality, because otherwise they would just get to keep their gifts. Revealed another one. Cool. I think I might even just escalate it. Again, there's only one card we don't know about. So hopefully it's not another Remand. So, drain you, reveal your hand. Because I am at 10. I'm worried about like getting naturally grape shotted, especially with the Bob in play. And then I guess I'm just going to ditch probably second Liliana. Also, we've got like the minor upside of Liliana is the card they know about, so they may be thinking we don't have another. They've got Empty, Empty, Gifts, and Peer, and a Baral. So second Empty might be problematic, but we can still just take the Gifts, pulse the first Empty, and then Brutality the other. Gifts is by far, I think, the scariest card. And then I can pay a life to get the Spellbomb into play, which I think I'm interested in. Feeling pretty good about this one. You're so glad you exist in the same point in human history as Uber Eats. Yeah, it's quite a time to be alive. Pieces. Alright. Pieces is a 2-for-1, which is going to be problematic. Luckily, the cards that go to Yard are going to have a lot less value because we've got Spellbomb. So we know their hand now. They can't Baral and something, which is nice. Alright, so there goes Pieces. So they can't take land or land. They found the Grape Shot if they want it. So they did not take Opt. So this is their hand. So finding an untapped land here would be nice, because then I can both cast Brutality and the Liliana. Okay. We also found a Goyf, which also just closes the game, which is also pretty important, right? So I think I'm going to take the Grape Shot with this Brutality, because I mentioned one of the ways I'm afraid of actually losing is just getting naturally Grape Shotted. Do I want to escalate it at all? I don't think so, right? Because I want to play my land and then play another spell, and then I need the Pulse as an out to the empty the Warrens. So I kind of need all the cards in my hand. So we can take the Grape Shot. I could just play the Goyf, hold up the Spell Bomb. It's going to close the game faster. We're going to attack for 2 down to 12, and then next turn we're attacking for 6, putting them down to 6. So it does cut off the clock by a whole turn. Yeah, let's do it. Like, their hand is kind of redundant at this point. I don't think having the opponent discard a card of their choice is going to be better than just shortening the game by a turn. This Dark Confidant has been excellent, as it tends to be against combo. There's the Brawl. So I'm going to assume that they're going to go for Morphos into an Empty the Warrens plan. Oh, they drew Ritual as well. We know the rest of their hand. I mean, the first... The Pulse is going to do well to take care of the entire first Empty the Warrens anyway. So the fact that they're using the Ritual now is actually good for me. So as long as they don't have a Repeal or a Bolt to target the one Goblin that I target... Alright, now we know that they don't. So we should be pretty much green-lighted now. They get to go empty and empty. But we've got the Pulse. I wonder what the record is for most goblins killed with a single Maelstrom Pulse. I guess we can kind of just yield here. I'm not going to pop the Spell Bomb and save the life. I guess they're just thinking about whether or not they want to use the other empty. We're hoping they do. Although the empty that they have just in play is enough to kill us, right? I guess we can block 2 things going to 9, but then our peatlands are shut off for mana. And our Bob can literally not do any damage to us. If we flip a Plague Engineer, I'll play the Plague Engineer. Alright, not going to hold up Bolt here. I'm just going to conserve the life. They're dead next turn with the Bolt anyway. Alright. Game 3. On the draw, I think the Inquisition is probably more important, because if we don't have a way to kill a Reducer, this can take a Reducer. And then on the draw, Liliana gets worse because of Remand. So I think I'm just going to make that 1-1 cut, or 1-1 swap, rather. Ooh, how do we feel about this? So basic forest is awkward with Kroxa, but we've got turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Damping Sphere, and then we've also got Ashiok. This feels like it's got to be good. We've also got a threat. They mulliganed once. Okay. Okay. Now, we need more lands to, like, cast our bigger stuff. It's got to be a black land, too, so we can actually play the Ashiok. So they've got Remand, Pieces, and Opt. I guess I'm going to take the Remand, because I don't want them remanding whatever it is I decide to do on turn 2. Which might honestly just be a Tarmogoyf. It's going to depend a lot on what they do on their turn 2. If it's just pass, it gets tricky. Thanks for the resub. I appreciate it, Satan. Alright, they shocked the Steam Vents just for... Okay. So I think I'm going to play the Sphere now. It's going to be pretty important that this doesn't get remanded. Also, they've already cast all of their cantrips not knowing that I've got an artifact hate piece. Come on, Black Source. Backup Wet Ball is good too. Maybe they can like abrade the first one. So they cannot take Baral or Aria. And they did not take the Pierce. They took Bolt. Alright, well, unfortunately, we did not hit the land. But we can still just cast a Goyf. They could use their entire turn bolting it twice. But we have redundant Goyf. I don't think I would do this if we didn't have redundant Goyf. Baral, okay. Costs one more, but then costs one less. Makes sense. So if they put a card on top, I'm going to assume that maybe they're finding an answer to the Damping Sphere. They did put a card on top. Backup Damping Sphere is nice, though. Just more Goyfs. Alright, well, in the event that they've found, like, an Abrade or something, I think I need to play the Damping Sphere. I guess, like, Unsubstantiate is another reason to play Damping Sphere. If they have found, I guess, a copy of Echoing Truths, that would be really bad, but it's also really bad if they just Echoing Truths to a Goyf. So I think I'm going to play second Wet Ball attack for 4. Then didn't hit the land, unfortunately. So again, hopefully their answer is either Abrade or Unsubstantiate, not Echoing Truths. Even Repeal would be fine. They can't repeal both of my Wet Balls. This is gonna put a the Damping Spheres do stack too. So everything after the first spell is gonna cost 2, and then 4, and then 6 extra. And this bolt. I guess they probably used the Steam Vents already. They top bottomed. They shocked, so maybe this means gifts ungiven. Still not hitting the land. Kind of unfortunate. Let's lead on attack. Satan redeems, drink some water. I just did, but I'll do it again. They're bolting my Goyf. Deal. They can't block. We've got 6 toughness. Or sorry, 5. I guess they don't want to just block. Bolting again. Yep. So they're pieces of the puzzle traded for a Goyf, basically. Here's another one. Hydration station, yeah. Two lands? Who needs 3? Will we hit the land? Find out after the break. We did. Alright, so it's not a black source, unfortunately. I think it's the only land in the deck other than Raging Ravines. So I guess we'll lead on attack. And then I could just play the Plague Engineer, but I think I want to save that as a surprise in case the opponent somehow finds an Empty the Warrens route. And then what I'm actually playing here is not super clear. I could play Tarmogoyf because that presents lethal next turn, which means they'd have to block and lose the Baral. It's weaker to Echoing Truths, but if they have Echoing Truths, they'd probably just use those on the Damping Spheres anyway. So I think the play is Goyf here. I could shock and play the Kroxa, but that doesn't represent lethal. Please no Echoing Truths. Sick. Okay. Next thing costs 4 more. 3 more because of Baral. Cool. Alright, and they're tapped out for this, so my Plague Engineer can name goblins, and then they're forced to trade away their board, which probably has us winning. Opponent says GG's, good luck next. You too. Yeah. Yay, we're on the board. Does anyone remember what we played against in match 2? I know we went, I really forgot what we played in round 1. Your mom? She was here earlier. We did not play her, though. I think I got a mulligan this. A lot of lands. So yeah, people tell me I should play more lands as I get screwed a lot, but then that happens. And then this happens. Alright, I guess this is as keepable as I've seen. I'm going to keep the Liliana as my 3-drop because on 5 cards it's going to become asymmetrical pretty quickly. Ooh, it's Amulet. Well, I think we were probably losing game 1 anyway. But this is actually a fine hand versus Amulet. If I Inquisition first, I could brick. But I think it's pretty unlikely, and the Thoughtseize can take a Titan later. So let's just hope I don't flat brick here. Alright, and I don't. So they've got Amulet and Explore. Let's take the Amulet. They're going to have a pretty quick Titan if they can find one. Explore. Cavern. Just found another amulet. Okay, brutal. So they're going to be able to hard cast a turn 3 Titan if they want. There's only one card I don't know about. Yeah, they're going to have 6 mana next turn almost no matter what, right? I guess they're not actually guaranteed the 6 mana anymore. They would need a green source in order to pump it into a castle. So I think I can pretty safely play my Tarmogoyf here. Another Thoughtseize is not exactly what I'm looking for. We're going to get to a stage of the game where if they draw a Titan, they're going to be able to just play it immediately. So Thoughtseizes are looking a little dead. We're in this game if we can hit a land next turn. Untapped land, specifically. Azusa, yep. Interesting they didn't play Boros Garrison. I guess they can shoot it into play whenever they want anyway. There's only one card I don't know about. Let's see if it's a hit. It is. That adds creature. They get to attack me for 2 if I attack them for 4. It seems like a deal. So, I mean, they're actually short a green mana to pump into the castle. Interesting that they didn't just shoot this into play. Another amulet, jeez. Alright, well, we are still in this. I could Kolaghan's Command to kill 1 amulet, but 2 is going to be harder. Although killing an amulet, actually, I would say would have some uses in growing Goyf, but there's actually already an amulet in the yard, so not even really the case. Attack for 2. I'm winning this race, but any Titan is bad for me, right? I guess they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. There is not instant in the yard. So if I'm gonna terminate something, I think I actually do want to just do it now. I guess I'll hit this one. And then the moment I hit land, I think I might save the Kolaghan's Command to like shock the opponent and have them discard a card in their draw step. If they find the Titan, they can't actually play it yet, which means Liliana and Kolaghan's Command are alive to having them discard it. And I can also just Thoughtseize. Alright. I didn't think I was winning this game, but I'm in it. What's up, Nick? So they bounced a Cavern and can replay a Cavern. Yep. So untapped land here would be huge because that would just about lock it up. Alright, well that's the opposite of an untapped land. So I think if they find a Titan here, we do actually just die. So Summoner's Pact and Titan both kill us. I'm going to assume they've got enough mana between like what all of this does. Alright, we can Thoughtseize them if we really wanted. Thanks, deck. You're a great help. Alright, they must block. Even a removal spell would have been fine there. Yep. So I still need to dodge a Titan or a Summoner's Pact for a Titan. I don't think just drawing Teleria West does it. Wow. Alright. Let's bring in the Wildfires. Let's bring in the Ashioks. Let's bring in the Damping Spheres. Yes, this is the Salty Satanic. Alright, let's cut out 2 Blood Braids because they're a combo deck and I don't want to like tap out for a Tiny Beater. They're playing Sakura Tribe Scout, so that would be a reason to keep in the Ren and 6, but if that's the only thing that it's killing, maybe on the draw it's still just too slow. I like all of the discard. The pushes don't seem great, but they're probably playing Dryad of the Illusory Grove. Bolt is going to be better versus Azusa. But push can kill Azusa too, but you just need the Revolt. Yeah, I can't wait for in-store events to start popping back up again. I mean, I'll be good to go in about a month because my second shot is in a week, and then there's like that buffer period until it actually kicks in. Let's cut. It's definitely some mix of the bolts and pushes. The cling doesn't do much. Maybe we just split it. 2 bolts, 2 pushes. This has us needing 2 more cuts. Maybe it's just Kroxa. Kroxa doesn't really seem that good here. It's also a liability versus something like Bailoff. Let's try this. Kicks in, aka your body doing the thing. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, sounds good. As long as they don't have Veil. Hooray, no Veil. You ready to Thoughtseize them and just see a land of 6 hands? Alright, well, I guess I'll just play that. Okie dokie. So they've got Dryad, Dryad, Explorer, Titan. I think I have to take a Dryad here. Because the Ashiok looks a lot worse if they can attack it. So if I can find an answer to second Dryad, Ashiok will be a lot better. Their hand's quite good, though. It's got a lot of action. They can play Dryad right now if they want. Alright, they found the Simic Growth Chamber. That's dangerous. You know what would be a good draw? Damping Sphere. Terminate and push would also be quite acceptable. Why would they play that now? They're just going to have to return a land right back to their hand. Oh, I guess they have Explore. Sure. The Yargle Explorer. Alright, so they have 1 unknown. So push would be good. Terminate would be good. Even a Goyf would be good. Alright, so we know the hand. They're going to get to Titan us next turn, the way their hand is set up. Ashiok's a little too slow to fight the turn 3 Titan. Does that change anything? It doesn't, though, right? They still get to play the Sanctuary twice. Like, just these 2 creatures represent 6 mana on their own. So I think I'm just dead. I'm like, actually just dead. Yep. I guess. That was the nuts. Think how different that game would have been if I were on the play, though, right? Because I would have been able to Thoughtseize the Amulet, and then they're really slowed down. I think I do like the push more than the bolts, so let's max on the pushes and resubmit. Ooh, so in the dark, this hand would be good. But I don't think this hand beats even a medium draw from Amulets. I think I have to ship. Digging for, like, a sideboard card. Oh, wow. Well, we've got all of the sideboard cards here. We just only have 1 land. If we can find a second land, this is excellent. I don't think we can lose if we can find a second land. And even if we find it 1 turn late, I think we're in a similar position. I think I'm going to keep bottom of Kolagon's Command, and then we can go Blood Crypt on 1, cast Inquisition. They mulliganed as well. Alright, let's see if we can get a little lucky. So they've got Amulet, Dryad, Scout, Pact. I guess let's take Amulet. Alright, so we've got a pretty big draw step coming up. I think we can afford to brick for like a turn. Alright, and that's the card. Actually, no, that's not the card we didn't know about. Alright, so there's that. Big draw step. Hiya. Nice. Alright, so do I just Damping Sphere now, or do I get the Bob rolling? They can't actually play the Dryad next turn unless they draw another Amulet. So I think this is probably a good a turn as any to get the Dark Confidant down. There's also just like not a 2-mana producing land that's going to be untapped coming up. So I think this is a good turn to just deploy the threat. I put myself to 14 already. Kind of quick. Found an Explorer. Brutal. Alright, well, if they keep double Growth Chamber in play, this Damping Sphere is going to get them. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And then I think what I'm going to do next turn is probably just deploy the Ashiok. Yep. I am actually worried about just dying to like actual damage, right? I'm gonna need a way to fend off just them attacking me. I guess I could block the Dryad and then Kolaghan's command. It's not the ideal way to do it, but it is a way to do it. Revealed Fatal Push, okay. And found the Goyf, cool. So they can Summoner's Pact. Their lands tap for any color. So they could get a Reclamation Sage or something. If I play the Ashiok though, it just gets attacked. I guess though, if I play the Ashiok, that turns the Pact off, and then they can no longer get the Reclamation Sage. And then if they like attack the Ashiok, that's fine. And then I'll trade here if they want, and then next turn I can maybe try to find a way to kill Dryad. Yeah, let's do it. And I think I'm just not gonna minus because I want the Ashiok to have a high loyalty, I think. Ooh. It gives +2/+0 and haste. They do have the mana for it thanks to Dryad. Yeah, they're just both going at Ashiok. I think I'm trading. My Ashiok is going to get to take 4 if they want it to. But yeah, I mean, this Ashiok is turning off the Summoner's Pact, so I think I need to try to keep it around. And then Goyf is going to be able to stick itself in front of the Dryad, or I could just Pulse. I think it's still probably better to play Goyf. Worst case scenario, they kill my thing or get out of the way somehow. I can have the push for the Dryad. I guess like if they've just found a Titan, I could pulse it. They can't search when it enters. Okay, I can pulse it. Not great, but let's definitely get this Titan down. Yeah, the games have been pretty rough. I think we've faced 3 disfavorable matchups, and then we've played against 2 combo decks that we're doing decently well against. They found Valakut just off the top. Jeez. That's probably the best draw in the whole deck. Because now they get to Pact. They don't actually get to cast the Titan, though. Because it's going to cost 1 more. And then we can just Kolaghan's Command, have them discard it. Yeah, they didn't realize. I mean, I need to kill this Dryad somehow, though. Or else every single land that they find is just going to be a bolt. So, best case here, I think, is a fetch, right? Because then I can Fatal Push this, and then on the opponent's upkeep, I can Kolaghan's Command. Yeah, I can Cleansing Wildfire myself, but the Damping Sphere is going to make the Fatal Push cost 1 more. Fetch land. Fetch land. Damn it. I still think I need to Kolaghan's Command, though, because like their Titan is just going to get a bunch of lands. So I guess I'm attacking. Can I afford to attack? Maybe it's time to play Notchon. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like, when you look at the metagame breakdown, I still think most of the decks there I want to see. But I'm pretty good at hitting the bad ones. So should I attack here? I think I should. They don't play, like, fetches or anything, right? So I can attack them, put them down to 12. Kolaghan's Command, shock you, you discard. Yeah, there's no way that they're ever blocking with this, right? And then next turn, they're going to have to pay for their pact. Which is actually kind of funny, right? Because if I Cleansing Wildfire myself and I hit an untapped land and I can push this, I just win. Because they won't actually have the double green to pay for the pact. The thing is, though, if they do... If I don't hit untapped land, I just die to the Titan. So I still think I need to just take care of the Titan here. So shock you, 2 to discard. Play to outs. I mean, I think the out of just like doing this is also very good. Because then we could just have him dead next turn. So discard a card, 2 to a target. It would be pretty funny though. Like had I found fetch land, they'd just be dead. So if they find land here, they can bolt me and activate Slayer Stronghold. So I guess I do actually just die to a fetch land, right? No, I would go to 1. I'm going to 1. So now fetches don't even work. I guess I shouldn't have attacked. 'Cause, 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 This is gonna bounce a land. They can play another land because Dryad is good. Thing is, like, if I don't attack, like, they could just draw lands and I'm in the same situation. So, I mean, I think an attack was still correct. But, I mean, bounce land was probably their best draw. Terminate. Thank you. I mean, I still need to dodge, right? Like, literally any creature kills me. Because they can give it... Actually, no, they don't have the red and white. So they have to draw another Dryad. Or, like, pact for a Dryad. If they pact, play Dryad, yeah, they'll have enough. But if they don't, I get to just kill them. Is there any reason to wait? Again, if I hit untapped land, I could just attack them for 10. I mean, I've got the push. So, I mean, it's still a Dryad kills me. Pact and Dryad kill me. Thing is, like, they could also just draw a Titan and make things a lot harder. I think I'm attacking and hoping to dodge. Yeah, it's got to be exactly another copy of Dryad. Or a way to find it off the top. I'm pretty good at calling my opponent's shots, so let's hope I'm wrong this time. Okay, whew. Finally. Alright, so kind of salvaged what would have been a pretty terrible league there. So let's do a deck tech / wrap up for purposes of the recording. If I can find my window here. There we go. So, all in all, pretty unsatisfying league, to be honest. We played against 2 combo decks, and I think combo is probably one of Jun's best matchups, and we beat both of them. And then the 3 matchups that we lost were pretty much all mid-range / control decks. Like, we lost to 5-color Scapeshift. We lost to... Yeah, I don't even remember right now. Anyone remember what we lost to? I know we were talking about it earlier. But like what the thing is, like, people used to like Jund from the perspective that if you get into a top deck war, on average your draw will be better than the opponent's draw. Because like if you're playing against a combo deck and you already ripped them to shreds and they draw like a pyretic ritual, for example, that doesn't do anything. But the thing is, there's so many mid-range and control decks out there where our average draw is so much worse than their average draw. Because like they just draw like Omnath, Bring to Light, Kaya's Guile. There are just so many piles out there that their average draw is so much higher than ours. Yeah, we did play against Mono Red Obosh. Thank you. We lost to Obosh, and yeah, that's not necessarily... Obosh is not a mid-range pile, but they definitely play a lot of cards that we have issue with. Seasoned Pyromancer, a big one. Bone Crusher Giant, a big one. Even Obosh itself can be problematic. And we just didn't have the early removal spells for their large number of 1 and 2 mana plays. Obviously, like, Obosh means that they don't actually have a whole lot of 2 mana plays, but by 2 mana plays, I just mean like double spelling on turn 2. They just overwhelmed us way too quickly. So also I misclicked in that one game where I like literally just yielded through my whole turn, which was pretty bad. But I mean, the deck has felt fine. The third Thoughtseize has felt fine. I'm not certain really what to change. Every card, like if I point at a card and say, how has this card been? Like, it has been just fine. But I mean, the issue with the deck right now is that none of the cards are excellent. And I think in like the marks of a good deck are when every card contributes to the game plan and or is excellent in the specific matchup. And there isn't really a specific game plan that Jund is really good at. And that like we're not a combo deck, we're not a hyper aggro deck where our only goal is to beat face. We're not a control deck where we can hang in with all of the other control decks. Like we're pretty mediocre at doing a lot of different jobs, and we're not really excellent at doing any of the jobs. So I think just we're missing the markers of just being a well put together deck right now. Um, I don't really know what I would change to shake that up. They're just I think we need more aces that hit a wide that cast a wide net and are powerful versus a good number of matchups. So like Goif is I think a good example of that, where it's really good. In fact, our best card in a few matchups, but in all the other matchups, it's not so. It's either good or excellent most of the time. Whereas something like Dark Confidant, it's either excellent or like almost not good at all right now because there's so many aggro decks going around. So like there are definitely matchups where this is excellent, but then on the flip side of the coin, there's a lot of matchups where it just doesn't do a whole lot. And then the same can be said about pretty much the entire deck right now. Like the discard's going to be excellent versus combo and control, but pretty terrible versus everyone else. The terminates are going to be great versus the creature decks, but pretty terrible versus everyone else. The fatal pushes are going to be good versus the creature decks, but pretty bad versus everyone else. So like there are a lot of these cards just like follow the pattern of they're going to be great in some places and terrible in others. And then when the cards start overlapping in terms of like what their bad matchups are, that's when things get really tricky. So like cards like Tarmogoyf can only be so bad. So I think Goyf, like one of the reasons why Goyf has been so good for so long is that it can never really be terrible. Like its floor is pretty low and then its ceiling is really high. I think a similar thing can be said for something like Lightning Bolt. A similar thing can be said for something like Kolaghan's Command. Similar thing can be said for something like Liliana of the Veil, which is why I think things like Liliana, Kolaghan's Command, Goyf, and Bolt are really kind of the staples of the deck. Whereas the things that have extreme swingy matchups are really meta dependent calls, and I don't think that all of the 1-mana removal, the discard, and even Bloodbraid at the top end is necessarily as well positioned as it has been in the near past or even distant past. So I mean, I think some pretty big changes are coming, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then I'll probably come with something radically different for the next league, which is gonna happen sometime in the near future. So for those watching on the YouTube, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your support as always. And until next time, Jun them out.